British Sports here. We hope you're doing well. We've got another video where we're going to be talking about some players that you should be trying to trade, trading for. Let's get started.
All right, so we're going to start off with players that we think you should sell high on. We think these players are going to drop off for fantasy and that you should get some value for them when you can. See if you can get someone who's going to be better for the long term. So the first player we have here is Jonas Valenciunas. So currently he has a season rank of 9. So the reason we have him on sell high is Zion Williamson will be returning sometime in the coming months, coming weeks. Not exactly sure what that's going to look at. But when Zion returns, I do think we're going to see Valanciunas' average points per game start to be reduced a little bit, just as you have someone else in that front court who's providing a bit more of a presence. So yeah, if you're able to trade Valanciunas and get someone who's a bit more solidified and that their role and value is going to be consistent, I'd be looking to trade him if that's possible. Next year, we have Miles Bridges, season rank 13. So he's performed super well this season, and maybe someone would be willing to trade someone like an all-star level player for him if they don't know too much about fantasy basketball and how everything goes sometimes. So if you're able to make a move and move Miles Bridges for someone who's ranked a little bit lower, but we know is going to be able to give you more fantasy points as we get deeper in the season, I think that'd be definitely worthwhile. I don't see Miles Bridges staying this high as the season goes. I think he'll definitely start to fall off a little bit.
Yeah, maybe you got someone in your league that's big on the Hornets. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. You can definitely play to teams that people are fans of, and sometimes get them to pay a little bit extra for players that are on their own home team. Next, we have DeJounte Murray, ranked 15 in fantasy leagues. So he's ranked super high, playing on the San Antonio Spurs. I think he is going to be a pretty good fantasy option for the coming weeks. There's nothing with his role going to be falling off, anything like that. I don't think he'll be staying as high as 15 as the season goes, especially as we get towards the end of the season too. And the Spurs, I don't see them being a team who's competitive for the play-in tournament. And as we get deeper to the end of the season, that's when we're looking at fantasy playoffs. And with us being at fantasy playoffs, we want all our players to be playing games. And I think it's possible we see DeJounte Murray get some rest and be sat out towards the end of the season as the Spurs are kind of starting to realize they're not going to be making the playoffs. So because of that, he's a guy I'd be looking to offload from your roster for someone else.
Yeah, fair enough. So the next person we're going to talk about is Jordan Poole. He's currently on the Warriors. He's had a relatively large role due to Klay Thompson being out, and Klay Thompson is projected to return sometime in the next few weeks, maybe around Christmas, a little bit after that. And Jordan Poole's role, it's definitely going to be reduced. So he's currently putting up top 70 value. If you can trade him for somebody in that range, I would definitely do it, because when Klay Thompson comes back, Jordan Poole potentially comes off the bench or only starts games that Klay Thompson isn't in. So if Klay Thompson's sitting back to backs, you could see Jordan Poole, start for those. But with Klay Thompson back in, Jordan Poole's maybe a top 100 player, maybe.
Yeah, it's
So
kind of hard to say where Poole falls. I think definitely that Klay Thompson thing is just going to be so difficult for Poole to really have a confident role on that team in the starting lineup with Klay Thompson returning.
exactly. So recently, actually, he went off in yesterday's game because Curry wasn't playing. So maybe you find somebody that doesn't follow Golden State that closely, and you manage to get a trade together. You know,
Yeah, look for the suckers, guys.
I'm just glad Klay Thompson's finally getting the respect he deserves in this channel.
Who's Klay Thompson?
Uh,
Nah,
I
I'm
mean,
just kidding. But remember, there's no friends in fantasy basketball. Keep that in mind. It's a savage game.
It's only a transaction.
Yeah, no, like I've done Batu dirty, Batu's done me dirty. Like it's how it goes in fantasy.
Especially if you've got money on the line.
Yeah,
for sure.
You see different. All right, so moving on to buy lows. These are players who are currently undervalued, and they will down the road they have the opportunity to be really good fantasy, top 100, maybe even top 50 finishers. Starting off with LeBron James with his famous Team Squad team. I don't think he has not played a game this season. I'll put it this way. Yeah, sure, he has played games, but in my book, he hasn't played this season at all. He's sitting off an abdominal injury. That is very broad. But again, when he comes back, he will play. He put up, I believe, like 20-some point game yesterday, and that was just day back. I'm not saying I don't like him personally as a player, but he will be good. He will be good for your fantasy team. So if you can pick him up, if you can convince someone for a trade, you can definitely pick up LeBron James. He will finish top 20, top 30,
Yeah, I
most
think we'll
likely.
definitely see LeBron climb. I mean, it's
Yeah.
tough that we'll see someone like Bugs Bunny and some of those people kind of taken away from his stats. But
Aliens, yeah, but
I haven't
yeah,
actually
I know,
seen
like
the movie yet.
it is what it is.
Did you like it? Has anyone seen the movie?
It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. No, if you're watching this video, like, I strongly advise that you never put yourself through watching Space Jam 2. Just
Yeah, if you did
not
watch it,
worth it.
definitely drop a comment. Tell me how it was.
Yeah. Maybe you can actually see some LeBron highlights.
Yeah, we got some LeBron haters on this video, so.
All right, moving on to James Wiseman. High pick. Unfortunately, he's been plagued with an injury since from the start. He's been cleared for 5-on-5 in practice, and he is to come back probably around mid-December or in a couple of weeks here. And when he comes back, when he starts getting full time, he'll be very valuable in the Golden State team, and he will steal the minutes. He will climb up in the ranks. He's currently at 300th, which 300th rank, maybe even lower. Undervalues him a lot, but he'll get up there. So pick him up. Definitely a really good center in the league. Pick him up when you can. Convince someone to trade. If he's in waivers, put him on your team. Pick him off. Put him in your IL. I'm a James Wiseman fan here. Get him on your team. Finally, in our buy lows, we have Jalen Brown. A no-brainer. If this guy was dropped or never picked in your team because he was injured, great. Try to pick him up. Try to trade for him. He is definitely like a top 3 scorer in Celtics, if not even top 2. So once he is back off his injury, once he starts playing, you will love him on your team. He will be good for your team. That's my bet.